All right. Now it's live here on YouTube. Okay, now we're here on YouTube. Hello Vic and friends, nice to see you here in the stream. Today I think it will be a shorter session, 1 hour or a little less, but I'll be very happy to chat with you guys and comment while I train my hand to stay fit for standing Bach, for standing Mr. Bach playing. Okay, let's go. Here we have both cameras and more or less. Okay. Thank you for the likes. Really appreciate it. Okay, I'm gonna try to take it in a slow tempo, but at repeats. I want to see how my hand behaves, if I can settle on left hand levels of tiredness and relaxation while I play this at a slower tempo, and then slowly I will bring it up. Vic says, who built your guitar? My guitar was built by Daniele Chiesa. I don't know if you can see here. Yeah. Whoops. I don't know, it's gonna be maybe a little too dark. Maybe with the lights somewhere there. Daniele, I don't know if you can see it. It's so hard to... Not quite, right? Well, I'm gonna write it here. But I love this guitar maker. Where's my mouse? There. So we have for this one. Alright, let's try. I'm gonna try to take it at a chill tempo. That's like 60. 60 the 16th. Okay, let's unplug this, because for some reason if I have the iPad plugged, it's just not coming the sound. Okay, let's try. I'm gonna start with the first page, probably gonna repeat it twice or potentially 3 times. Let's see how it goes. harder to feed the slurs slower. Because he needs more control. Proactively trying to not to even place my thumb behind the fretboard. So hard to speak and play. Second part. Feeling quite okay. I should shut up. So hard not to press with the thumb. With thumb. I can't speak. Floating. much harder than I thought. I have to direct a lot more my pressure downwards to hold the strings. Sorry, sounding really bad. Yeah, this old experiment with the left hand. Yeah. Okay, that's after this weird, very ugly playing experiment. So the idea was that I tried to avoid to put pressure with my thumb, even though I know that I'm not adding too much pressure. But conclusion is that when I'm playing, the tension is not so much on my thumb, but in here in the rest of my hand, because I'm trying to stretch, and because in some instances I'm relying a lot more on the grip rather than on the weight. So those who maybe have done a little bit of research or work on that, to progressively have more freedom in playing and more effortlessness, we have to avoid jamming here and just pressing against the fretboard like this. You have to just try to let your hand hang. If you let your hand hang, then this muscle is not active, which frees a lot more the movement. Now, I do that already quite a bit, but of course in a long piece, here and there, you still naturally want to grip against the strings. So that is what causing, in part, a reason is the piece is fast, is difficult, so that's obviously gonna have some tension. But to overcome this extra bit of tension that it's somehow making my life a bit difficult, is to improve the way I put the pressure on the fretboard. And by removing the thumb, I can see sometimes that there is still tension in here, even if the thumb is not being used, because I'm trying to do this. And by doing this, my thumb stays like here, tensed. Anyways, that's hard, and it should be relaxed somehow, because I'm transferring the weight to my arm, like downwards, as if somebody's hanging on my arm. And that, of course, is very easy to say, but hard to implement, even more when it's a fast piece. When it's a slow, somehow the movement can help you, but when it's fast, you just don't have the luxury of time of thinking and to give your brain a little bit of a buffer to take care of all this. So that's what I was trying to do. And it sounds so bad because I was, of course, making lots of mistakes, being imprecise and everything, but that's what I was trying to do. Raccoon says typical classical guitar thumb. Yeah, it's of course is a very, very common thing, really. Scallop says, yeah, I'm trying to work on finding out the correct technique for that because I get a lot of left hand tension. I can tell I'm doing some things wrong, so that's useful to listen to. Yeah, I mean, and I believe that what you have to, one second, my thing is not charging here. What you have to think more on this regard is that you can always improve, refine your technique. It's not like one day you get the magic technique and suddenly you have zero tension. The harder the piece is, the more tension you will have. But what you want is to reduce your core position, your movement, to being the basics every time more and more comfortable. So when you raise the level of the pieces, the tension is going to increase, but in proportion, your tension is already fairly low, so you can manage things better. It's a little bit utopic to think that you play completely effortless, but it's about managing this. And of course, some players do experience it so much that they can barely play any beginner piece or intermediate piece in a comfortable way. So yeah, it's something that we have to always work on for sure. Quick Watch says, my thumb is moving around all the time. I don't know. I guess what you mean is that when you're playing, like you leave it around and like you have a lot of movement here behind. I like to try to use my hand as a block and only like move my thumb and allow my thumb to move when I need some, how to say, to stay on the position because I'm coming back or I have a stretch and keep my ground there. But otherwise, I like letting go. This is a technique from, let's say, the Carlevaro time, to allow your hand to unclip and have always this resetting. When you unclip, your hand is completely loose. Since we change position all the time, that helps very much this reset. I think if I would keep my thumb around stuck and just slide it really harshly around, that would make impossible to play such a piece. But yes, it's always useful to have flexibility and movement because when, for instance, the wrist, when it remains movable, it means or flexible, it's because you have no tension. When we remain like this, playing all the time in this block, that's of course when things go wrong, right? So yeah, why not? I don't know the details of what you mean with keeps moving around, but as long as you don't feel stuck, that's that's good. All right, now I'm gonna try playing it with the thumb behind, but proactively trying to bring my arm down, let's say with using gravity to press the strings. Hey, by the way, so much thank you so much for all the likes that I've seen here. We are not so many in the live streams, but like already many likes, so that's really really sweet of you guys. So Scabab asks before we start, so does one move the whole hand as a unit? Yeah, I have two approaches with that. As a standard thing, if you don't have to stretch or open up your hand, if I have to, for instance, change position, even if it's to the second fret, from behind, my hand goes like this. Like a little unclip and clip back. Of course, if it's like a bigger change, you do exactly the same, just the arm moves faster. But I do not drag the thumb around and keep the pressure. There is how to say, a process to that, to let go and feel that this moment is where your hand resets, where your hand is free, and only move the arm then. What you achieve here is two things. You achieve that not only you let go of the tension, but you achieve that when you move, the movement does not transfer in contracting nor expanding the hand. So like this, you can always have the 4 fret position, and the hand, it's, how to say, it has less work because it's not pushed to do anything that you don't want to. So then there is some how to say, expansion on that, where you are staying here, you apply a little bit of tension to contrast even more with a relaxation moment, which makes you have a more explosive release to move fast. The trick is to not slide all the way, but unclip up and let go. But before that, there's a little bit of tension where, you go away really fast. So you remove the acceleration in this process, because the acceleration somehow is not there, because this tension is holding you here. It's like if somebody is blocking you, and then as soon as you release the barrier, you go. So those are refined things of technique that it's difficult to explain that in a way that makes sense, because it has to build up a little bit in parts, and we build it up in phases and simple exercises to control those things. So the idea of using gravity and slight inward pressure seems to help me get rid of buzzing and maybe muscle pain a lot. I think I have weak finger muscles, maybe still I'm anyway. Of course, the strength has to be built up. I mean, for instance, in my case, I'm also practicing the endurance with this piece. But eventually, it's the amount of strength that you need to play guitar is very, very limited. It's more about the skill set on how to move and how to apply pressure, much more than the strength that you need. Yes, I was reading about the explosive idea in Calivaro's book. It's interesting to me. Yeah, it's very interesting, and you can apply similar concepts for the right hand alternation here in the fingers. So to have like really fast plucking. So, and when you do that, you of course don't want it to be like tensed, but like how is it called? Reflective speed or something they call it. I don't know. Sometimes the official names, they're still changing, since I think we are still setting a lot on our technique issues with the classical guitar. Okay. I'm reading the last text, and then I continue practicing. But I love that you write, so I'll read you later. I feel every position of the finger needs another thumb position. 1 second, let me connect to this. I feel every position of the finger needs another thumb position. Middle, high, down to bend the wrist. Too long doesn't help. So you mean, second, let me get that right. That when you are, for instance, playing 1, 2, 3, 4, that you are changing position. Whether you're playing 1, you bring the thumb back. When you're playing 2, you bring the finger forward, and like this. So that for 1, 2, 3, 4, you have different positions. If that's what you mean. Oh, sorry, we had like a subscriber. We have Crystal. Thank you for the subscription. So if that's what you mean, that you have 4 fingers in the same fret, same position, and you have different thumb placements, I do not advise that a lot. Actually, not at all. Sorry. What you maybe should try to find is a position where the thumb is not too compromised inside of the hand, maybe a little bit outwards, and it's all between a balance between, if you have the thumb around the second or around between these two, this is going to be weaker, so you might need to work a lot more with the position and with the hand placement to have the control. If, on the other hand, you don't mind being a little bit more in, you have better support of the weaker part of the hand, but you're going to have more tension in here. So it's all a compromise, and I see different players have different, comfort areas. So, all right, let's try the Allegro. Now with the thumb, gonna try to make it more steady, use better my weight distribution, something that's hard for you guys to see, but let's see how that goes. All right. It's a little bit slower than expected. press with the arm instead of the fingers. And bring my fingers with the arm. Better already. Since the thumb is in a normal position. Repeat. I'm focusing so much on the angle of my elbow and having pressure downwards. Just skip something, sorry. That's a problem of speaking. Thank you for the subscription, Elena. Very fitness. We need that. By the end of the first page, and my hand is very loose. That's a good sign. But I'm really locked in the sensation of lightness and control on my elbow. Part. We'll do also the repeat. I need to use my arm a lot in the open positions. Now I don't care about the dirty notes. It's all about bringing the fingers in place with my arm and avoid finger work. Feeling very good. Almost not tired at all. But my brain is about to explode. This needs to be very light always. Sorry. Difficult part for the relaxation, because here I gotta stretch. Actually very good. There's only a few moments where there's more pressure at the end of this second part. Let's repeat and we'll see how it holds on. very light, surprising. I'm trying to get the slurs. I lost my place because I'm speaking. Let's take from there. It's hard to play and comment. It's the hardest multitasking. Here there's tension because of the bar. And there also we need Elena's Refinas. That's difficult. I'm not tired at all. I think I could repeat the whole piece again. Okay, so I did what I wanted here. At 60, which is a much lower tempo than I will have to play, I managed to stay pretty relaxed. Only there's a few passages. Here there's a bar, and since it goes up, there is a bit more pressure that I can avoid. Or this one, because I need to anchor here the third and have this slur with the fourth. And after all this slur, it's very annoying because somehow with the fourth it feels a lot less available. But here I felt maybe 10% of tiredness, which is very good actually. So now my goal is to somehow, with the same focus, do this, raising the speed and see if how minimal I can keep the tension increase. So 1 second, guys, you have been writing a lot, but I just couldn't play, comment, and read. So let's see. Ahmed, I'll left from there. Ahmed asks, what should I do to increase my pinky strength? I've been playing for a year irregularly. For the pinky finger strength, I would suggest slurs, but you have to do them well. Slurs really working always from the knuckle and not with the hand or not with the tip of the finger. Like, I don't know how to do it. Like, some people manage to have a tiny movement in here. If you work the slurs so that this muscle here learns to bend the finger back and then quickly hammer it on the string, that gives you a lot of strength. Actually, my warm-up is always slurs with one hand, just like this. I do all the fingers, but actually you can better start with couples of 2 fingers, just 1 2 1 2 2 3 and 3 4. And then I would do something like that's a lot too fast. I would maybe choose a tempo. And without playing with the left hand. So you're really forced to engage with this movement, like kind of a hammer movement. If you are a beginner, maybe before that I would do some other exercises, but for strength of the pinky finger, that could be a good place. I'm supposing that you have done a few things already. Elena says, beautiful playing. Thank you. Well, I would say that it's adventurous playing with these experiments we are doing here, but I really appreciate your words. Phil, how is my thumbnail repair holding up? Well, my thumb, it's, look, I did yesterday the live stream. Was yesterday or the other day? I don't know. About that. It's holding up pretty well, actually. I did not yet try to make the sound decent enough because I'm not playing anything remotely close to beautiful music. Just, yeah, doing this kind of technical part. So I did have to add here, let's see, in this part, I don't know if you can see. Yes. In this part, it was a little bit too close to the flash here, the silk paper, and it was raising up a little bit. And also because having going out with my dog with the gloves and then just rubbing every time you put the finger in the glove, and it was like humid because yeah, we have been going to very muddy places, so it was coming off a little bit. So I just applied glue again before practicing, and it's good. I think if I wash my hands a lot, then it's gonna hold up less. So I'll tell you in a couple of weeks to see how terrible my thumb works. Skabab says it's actually very helpful to me to watch her left arm and what the elbow and the wrist is doing. It's lovely and relaxed. We are getting a masterclass on left arm here. Thank you. It is very, very important. You know, like when you're starting and people like play like this, the angle of the arm, of the forearm, is very, very, very important. And sometimes we don't really stress enough in the beginning this. And for my students, the beginner students, I teach them like really the chops of understanding the good movement, because then you can build on that. Of course, as you improve, your technique changes and you try things, and then sometimes you do some more wrong things. I mean, myself, I also did some wrong things along the way that then you have to correct. It's not a straight road, even if you have somebody that coaches you, because your body wants to do some other things and you always have to find the main road, the back. But important is that you know how this main road looks and how to find it. So yeah, and as I'm playing this piece and I'm trying to get rid of tension, for instance, if I have to bring my pinky down, I'm gonna avoid doing this and having the work from here. I'm gonna first try to give the work to the arm, since this doesn't cause me any tension, but this causes tension. And in the long run, when you are keeping all the work here from the, let's say, the knuckles up, and the only piece that is moving in the puzzle is this, that's crazy work. But if I can work, for instance, on the stretches, that's why I say that the hard part is when I have to open the hand, because then I need the wrist to come up a little bit like this and open the hand. But when you do this, the fingers open until a certain extent naturally. That's all I can get. So sometimes I need to open a little bit more, and those little bits is what they are add up. So you have to optimize the parts that can be better, so that I get there and then I just apply a little bit of tension and I can reset. But in the parts that are supposed to be easy, that I'm in a 4-fret distribution, and if I have tension there and I'm not really trying to use my weight properly, then when I get here my hand is so tired that then it's just like the cherry on top that will just make the whole castle crumble and just crash. So yeah, I have also learned quite a few with observing players for what they do right and what they do wrong, and always attention to that our hands are different sizes. So for instance, and that happened to me, if you watch guitar players, most of them are guys and have actually pretty big hands, the way they move is very different, because they have some buffer space somehow to mess up with, because they have longer fingers and they don't have to put as much effort as to reach some things as when you have smaller fingers. So I, for instance, enjoyed watching a lot some Chinese players when I was little, and you see completely different action. So that attention with that, try to make sense of what I'm doing, but not copy literally unless it works for you, if you know what I mean. Like your body has different proportions than mine, your hand, your fingers also. So you have to, that's why I say when you are studying technique, it's important to find this main road, the good technique, what is healthy, what is easy, what is comfortable for your fingers, and then find it back. Because if maybe my main road is gonna look a little bit different than yours because of my body configuration, my guitar, my style of playing, my way of moving as well. But yeah, I'm glad that you can learn for sure. Helena, I love your music. Nice playing. Thank you, guys. Beautiful piece. Yeah, that's very, very nice piece. Actually, the whole sonata is for violin, original for violin. But I play it just as it is, actually. I was thinking if I should add some basses and kind of make it more guitar-like, but I don't know. I think I'll just leave it like this. Um, at this point, I'll just probably record it as it is. I need to check your prior live streams. Before live stream was about fixing this problem since I destroyed my thumbnail, but the other ones are on this piece and Giuliani, so it can be interesting for sure. Um, it's a free live concert of February music. Free live concert with commenting. Um, yeah, I would need here a commentator, like the football matches or the tennis matches. That would be interesting. Um, it is hard to play and talk. Very, very hard. Like it makes you, since you're so busy playing and by heart or reading, and you're talking, you're trying to say something else. It's like you become dumb. You just don't really talk normally anymore. I don't know. Um, Elena, you have a sense of humor, so I like you like her nail fixing live stream from last night. The glue wouldn't set, and it was only persistence that saved the nail. Indeed, the glue is pretty bad. I get distracted playing the piano and talking or singing. Somehow singing is a bit easier with the guitar for me. Yeah, singing it's a lot easier because it actually makes sense with the music. Talking is just has no rhythm, has no pitch, has no connection with the music at all. It's just annoying. I love that you commented about how you were using that arm as you played. I appreciate the effort you made the to clue us in. Nice. I'll try to do it a lot more. I have practiced this skill with my students a lot to talk and play. Now, with the online lessons, you know what? I worked really hard. Well, I had to work. It was like it happened naturally. That sometimes when I play with my students a lot, like duos and everything, and I if I put my metronome, I can hear sometimes their metronome, and my metronome goes here, and the other metronome goes. And sometimes the timing is really weird, like ta 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 ta. It's not an 8 note, it's not 16, it's just something weird in between. But I had to learn to get this any weird groove and listen to myself, my metronome, listen to them and their metronome, and then I can, by comparison of this weird groove that comes in, I know if they are together with me or they are messing around with the rhythm, because of course they come off this weird groove. But it's such a mental work. It's really like training your head. And I notice now by playing this and talking that I have improved on that a lot, because it's like your brain needs to multitask really hard. And before it was impossible to talk through a piece of this complexity. So yeah, it's a good practice. See, anything gives you skills and makes you better somehow. Anything, like the weirdest thing. Super impressed that you can play accurately without always looking at your left hand. Actually, I feel bothered about looking at my left hand. I don't know, maybe that's the way I practiced, the way I trained as well. I how would I say it? I encourage a lot more the feeling and sensations that I feel in my arm and my hand. And as opposed to look at my hand. I only did the looking when I was training to keep the fingers really close to the string. So I would see this and I was like, okay, not. But then even that, I'm trying to get much more the sensation in, much more than the eyes. And somehow I find myself that when I play, I do not, I wouldn't say avoid looking at the guitar, but if I have to choose, let's say if my body has to choose where to put my head, most likely somewhere else far from the guitar, so I can get this picture of what my arm is doing and what the music is in my head. I feel I control a lot more rather than being like this. I don't know. It's those things that just happen. Like I don't think it's trained on purpose. Some other fingers like much more to stay in the music. I guess I look at the guitar much more when maybe I am really trying to focus in the music and for some reason I'm having a harder time getting into it. I don't know. I will analyze when I do that. That's interesting. Does it help to have longer nails with the guitar practice? With the guitar practice on the left hand? What do you mean with the guitar practice on the left hand? For me, the longer nails are just because of my position, my attack, the length of my fingers, and for instance with my thumb, I like to have longer nail because the way I plug the string, it just feels, it just feels I can have a lot more into the string without having to compromise the other fingers. So yeah, and maybe because when I, for instance, play all the 6 strings, my hand is a little bit more open, so I can reach better somehow. The nail gives me some extra distance that I don't have to compensate with the fingers doing this, because when you do this, then you start playing that way instead of this, and this is very fast, and this is very slow and clunky and tensed. So it's that's mostly the reason. But my nail length and about the other fingers, it's just the way I feel the string and the way my nails are shaped, that if I have them shorter, I feel like I barely get my nail through consistently. So for sound and everything, I just settle with that size. I mean, if it would sound better shorter, I would keep it shorter, or longer, I keep it longer. I actually don't care about the length as long as it works. I don't even do slurs. So Scabab says I don't even do slurs yet. Such a newbie. Slurs, it's very good to do them. Not too early on though. When you have a good position set in, because otherwise they imply speed and strength. And when you're practicing this kind of thing, then you can start doing all these sorts of weird position to compensate about the how weird you still feel on the fretboard, let's say. So I always start slurs with the student when I feel like they're in good control of what's happening here. They're minimizing a lot of finger movement. They also can control the supination of the arm as we move up, down the fretboard, like here, so that we don't end up in these kind of positions. Because if they're trying to play and they hold the first position like this, then this is going to be really hard, and it's when these weird movements of slurs happen. So you have to put them in the right moment. It's not excessively necessary to practice them right from the beginning. Actually, I prefer them to keep them a bit later, not like 3 years later, of course not, but it just depends on the evolution, the development of your left hand. Jim says, thanks for the tips. You're very welcome. We are here to talk about things. I love talking to you guys. So Jimmy asked, I wanted to ask, I have been setting up my classical this week. Sadless and not so much. I'm so much preferring the action on a higher side because of the tone is incredible. I usually play low action, so yeah, that's okay. The higher action of the guitar, I guess you're referring to that, to how high the strings are on the fretboard. higher action gives you more margin, of course, to play and the dynamics, and I guess that's also why you feel it has better tone, because there is also less buzzing, and yeah, it gives you much more of an edge. So that's all right. It's just gonna make it a little bit harder on the left hand, but yeah, I think you can definitely work around that, and you will for sure. So that's not a problem. Absolutely not a problem. Um, Reinventor says twisting your head for hours on end isn't too healthy as well. I know, guitar playing is everything but healthy, to be honest. No, but that's why I always keep my score, the score here in front, and I go back and forth. Playing an instrument for too many hours is always unhealthy. So I try to also, with this thing what I'm doing of the relaxation, and actually you see that I'm practicing in this, not the best thing, but it keeps me a little bit of, moving. And when I turn like this sometimes, it keeps my hips movable, and then I can look there, I can, turn a little bit my back around and not stay stiff. Sometimes these concert chairs that I have here behind me, since they don't move, you tend to stay much more static. So in practice, I like to use this office chair, just to keep a little bit of more mobility, which makes you a little bit less accurate sometimes. But I think if you once you get used to it, it's a tiny bit healthier. Scallop says, yeah, good body awareness. I wonder, is a mirror sometimes a good aid, though, for spotting big body mistakes? I know it's helpful in other things like yoga. Yeah, actually, all conservatories in the practice rooms, they always have mirrors, like full body sized mirrors. Because for any instrument, from piano to violin to flute and guitar, is also important. If you have a mirror, you can easily spot yourself being like in weird positions, and that's very helpful. I always used just the reflection of whether a window or the screen when it's off, things like this, but it's very good to check regularly for sure. Also, I don't know yet what a good body position is for me. It would probably not be a good idea for me anyways. Good body position always begins with a good balance of your leg. That's why we use a lot, every time more and more, these kind of supports, this bigger one, this guitar lift and stuff. So we don't have to have one leg up, the other down, because then your ass is unbalanced, and that causes a lot of deviation in the back. And once you have this, let's say we put the guitar, and when you have the guitar, you want to avoid as much as you can just turning or bend too much like this. So try to stay upright. Let me see, maybe the other angle is a bit better. Try to stay upright. Of course, the guitar is very difficult to play like really with straight back, because then you feel like you don't see anything, but in fact you don't need to see anything. But anyways, you will see rarely a player that stays like this playing. So we slouch a little bit, and that's why I prefer to at least have mobility in that, to not to always stay like this, because then you go like this, and then you don't even realize, and you stay like this, and that's really, really unhealthy. And I think most of guitar players, we walk a little bit like this. It's unhealthy. It is what it is. We should have chosen singing or piano. That's also, I think, a bit healthier. At least it's more a balanced position. And we have to be a little bit on the side, so avoid kind of bringing your elbow, your shoulder too much forward, or I don't know, like any weird thing that goes like staying in a irregular and balanced position. That's not gonna help. But a little bit we have to accept with the instrument. So that's why the mobility thing I was talking about, because if you have to be in a weird position, but you can come back and you can compensate, the muscles stay active and nothing gets like really stiff, then it's when you get pain and stuff. And of course taking breaks, it helps. It's very hard for me to do. Elena says, do you tend to stumble when you overthink it, like when you look at your left arm or right? Yes. When you when you're playing through a piece, you want to enter in this kind of flow of just letting things happen. You know that you worked it really hard. You just let it happen. It's really hard to do. It's really difficult, because when it comes a difficult passage, or when you want to connect a little bit back in, and you're like, oh, maybe how was this little moment of doubts of coming in and out in your concentration, um, makes it that you can make mistakes in places where you usually don't, or you have a blackout and things like this. So I usually arrange the student concerts for my academy, just so that we can get used to playing the same piece, just the same piece over and over, and slowly find this flow. Let's say what we call uh, this level of concentration, where you just let things happen. You're still there, focused on what you're doing, but not hyper focused. Because yeah, when you overthink, you create very, very easily blockages. And it happens in practice, but practice is easier because we are alone and we are more relaxed. But it happens mostly when you have to play for a teacher, or for a concert, or anything that you have to actually perform, and you have a little bit of tension. Then the adrenaline makes you focus more efficiently, and this hyper focus is where things starts to be like shaky. I don't know if you ever had this experience, that you have to play somewhere and everything goes wrong, and you're late, your dress gets stained, or something breaks, and then you get lost. I don't know, you get locked in the toilet, any random thing, and you're like so fed up with everything, and then you play like, oh, just fuck it, like, oh, you just play with this I don't care attitude. Then it goes perfect. Because you just let go, and you don't have the brain there over worrying about every detail. You just let it happen, and you have obviously practice, so you allow your body to perform much better what you have been practicing. It's really funny in music that our brain, we work so hard for something, and our brain can so easily play against what we have been practicing. It's an art. It's really an art to improve that. And I think even the best concert players, they are always constantly working on that. It's not easy. um, Skavop says that supination of the left arm is an interesting thing. I don't know about that at all. Well, we can talk in another time a little bit more about this. Now I'll have to close the stream very soon. But yeah, we can talk a little bit more on that. We were doing this yesterday. Yesterday was Sunday. Yes, yesterday. We were doing this in the technique workshop in the academy. We do this kind of exercise all the time to understand the movement and to see. For instance, it was very interesting because some players could do like really, really well. Some others, they start here with a bent wrist, and when you get here, it gets better, and then when you go back, they were doing it right. So understanding the motoric and the refining of all this, it's a very, very useful thing to do. But we can talk in a live stream for sure, and then maybe we can give some pointers to work it. Otherwise, in the academy, I have like lots of live streams. Actually, all of them are for setting a essential technique, that are all revolving in these good principles, let's say. Where I was here. Miller says hi. Hello, Miller. Scavo says, I have to get a wall and a tennis ball rolled up on my back for neck and upper back pain during some practices. I have tendency towards back pain, and the tennis ball trick works. Yes. If you have tendency to back pain, I did have when I was in the university years, because I was practicing a lot and I was doing zero physical exercise, and my muscles were very weak. That's the reason I also started tennis, just to have, something that I'm motivated to do and that keeps me fit. But if you don't train, and we spend too many hours in a not very natural position, and even if it's natural but you spend many hours in it, it's gonna give you pain. So try to train a little bit of strength. That's amazingly helpful. It's really amazingly helpful. I wish I would do that more often. I just don't really like to go to the gym. But the times I've gone for a few weeks to do weights and to train the chest or to train shoulders, overnight the difference, really, like really big difference. So physio is also very helpful, but I think training and staying fit and staying healthy, that's a big thing. uh, um we have nice 29. Sorry, I just don't know how to pronounce your username. I've been watching your channel for a while. I think I'm gonna join. How often do you do these live streams? Would you answer a question on specific pieces? Yes, look, the live streams here of practice with me, it's everything random. I just play pieces and we comment on things. But in the academy, we do every Sunday a different live stream. We have 2 technique workshops where we work on essential things, and then a Q&A. During the technique workshops, of course, we talk also with the users in a Zoom session, live call, about any question that they have. And then we also have the Q&A session where you can just bring up questions, not only from the technique sessions, but also from your pieces, questions that you have on your own of any other issue. So yes, it's for the community to have like closer contact together, much more than I can afford to have here with you in these streams, because I can only read you. Let's say in the academy, I can see you, I can talk to you, and we can try things together. I can give you exercises, and yeah, it's a little bit more in depth for sure. Elena says, I agree with you. I've been playing the piano for many years, not professionally, but I get stuck when I start overthinking. Yeah, and you know what helps a lot with this overthinking is building routine. That performing, it becomes a routine. But of course, we cannot always do that because, yeah, nobody gets like concerts every week, right? And it would be a little bit difficult to play concerts every single week. So for that, different things can help. Whether you have lessons, when you can play for friends, where you can play for family when they come to visit, like I don't know, Christmas holidays now. If you can, I'll just take the piano or the guitar and I'll play a piece for you. It's just puts you a little bit in the spotlight, and you might get a little bit like nervous. But it's good that you do that, and that you try to do that at every possible occasion. Or now that we have the possibility, make a Instagram stream and you just play, or even not even a stream, just start with videos and post a video on social. That also puts you in the spotlight and gives you the same mental process somehow. So we have lots of options, I think, nowadays, also with the online thing, much more than, not everything it's like a properly organized concert, let's say. Stretching also helps. Also try the Pulklamat. Absolutely, yes, the very good tip from Elena. And yoga barre pilates are great. Yeah, the pilates, that stuff. And yoga, it's very good. I know many people that do it, and it's a very good workout. Scallop says, yeah, Elena, I have to do a bit of arm work for dealing with shoulder impingement, but after a year with physio exercise and stretching, it's much better. I try to stay fit and stretch and jog. Yes, I have around here a very good physio. She was a physio of a football team, professional, the first league in the Spanish league. But then she worked on an organization for musicians, and in this organization they were just offering the physio services to all the musicians, and she was shocked. For instance, cello players, how bad they were with their backs. She said, like, I don't know, maybe the holding an instrument like this and this kind of upright position, but still having to hold your arms forward, that causes a lot of tension. I don't know. She said, like, she saw some cello players that seriously they should get physio on a weekly basis if that's your job, because it was really tough on the back. So sometimes we think, oh, it's music, it's not a physical thing, but we have to take care a lot of our physical condition. And having physio regularly, if you can do that, that's really good. And besides this, training, so that it's let's say it's a good complement for the with the physio session. So it's not only just, the physio is helping you and then you just damage yourself, but it's helping you, then you get better, and at some point then you can start lowering the amount of physio sessions that you get. But yeah, I was really shocked about how her experience that she was telling me with a musician. She didn't have a lot of experience with guitar players, but violinists, cello players, piano players. And she actually said, I don't know how musicians don't get this as a standard thing, because they were much, much, much worse than any office workers that I have, let's say, worked with regularly. So yeah. Backs get wrecked from no exercise. I'm in great shape for my age with good posture and flexibility. Years of workout standing to me. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can be in good shape and everything, but as maintenance, to keep moving, it's important. And I try to get into my head this as well, because many times I'm like, oh, I just rather practice rather than to go out and train, but we all have to find our routines, right? Poor posture anywhere, daily activities and safe fitness practice can destroy your back. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Even just staying like this or teaching, sometimes like I go too much like that and writing or whatever, and yeah, I got this chair to just try to stay in a good position. That's very helpful, but we have to be mindful of that anytime. All right. Wow, guys, we are 16 and we have like 20 likes. That's really, really cute of you. Thank you so much. Well, I was a lot of talking this stream. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it a lot talking to you. Um, any other questions that come up, we will do it next days for sure. And I go now to out with my dog. He keeps me fit. We are doing a few kilometers every day, and yeah, he's my personal trainer. So I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll see you again sometime this week for sure. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.